I love the Grand Coulee. Some think that the Grand Coulee is a massive hydroelectric dam that spans the Great Columbia River. But my friend Gordon Cooley will always be the real Grand Coulee to me. In my life, I've had the opportunity to shake hands with presidents, artists, celebrities, entertainers, as well as multimillionaires, but none of these made the impression or had the impact on my life that my friend and brother Gordon did. In many ways, my friend Gordon was a common man, and yet at the same time, he was perhaps one of the most uniquely uncommon men I have ever been blessed to know. Within his gentle spirit, he possessed a breathtaking capacity for compassion and caring concern. Gordon's love and compassion were never a matter of mere words, but an active, serving, and sharing love. Gordon brought every resource at his disposal to the table of sharing. "Oh, Frank, do they take plastic? If so, I'll pop for it." I love this man. He was my friend, my brother in the Lord, as well as a second father to me. I already miss him so much. This world seems a little less warm, a little less sweet, and a little less friendly without his presence among us. He really was the Grand Coulee. Just like the rest of us, Gordon had his quirks and his idiosyncrasies. There was no container of ice cream, no matter the flavor or the size, that was safe within a 1,000-foot radius of Gordon. There are probably Chinese restaurant owners from Chicago to Tulsa and the greater Austin area who are also in mourning over the loss of one of their favorite patrons. And I suspect St. Peter may have had a Brahms hamburger and strawberry shake already prepared for Gordon's arrival at the pearly gates. One of the things that the Grand Coulee and I shared was a passionate joy of food and fellowship, something for which I might add there's plenty of biblical example and support. There were times when Gordon operated in stealth mode, perhaps off in a corner of a room filled with people who were busy chatting and visiting about any myriad of topics and interests, while Gordon sat quietly taking in much more of the various discussions than anyone would have supposed. But if something captured his interest, he could become animated and very demonstrative at the drop of a hat. "Oh, Frank, are you serious? Oh, Judas Priest." There was a sincere transparency and authenticity about Gordon that was truly beautiful. There was no pretense or posturing where Gordon was concerned. He was who he was, totally void of affectation and airs. Children perhaps have a greater awareness of and are drawn to such people, maybe because they also are without guile. There was also a childlike nature of interest, inquiry, and naivete that Gordon never lost. I loved him for that. Gordon loved and had a deep and abiding appreciation for his family and loved ones. During these later years, his grandchildren were truly his beauties. He loved sharing stories of some new accomplishment or achievement that one of them had made. He was so grateful for the love and support that he received from his family, especially during the difficult years of his illness. Your love and care meant so very much to him. I suppose the greatest thing to be said about my friend and brother Gordon is that he loved and walked with his Lord. I have known very few people in my life who possessed the kind of spiritual passion and curiosity that Gordon had. For more than 30 years, we shared each other's spiritual journey and a partnership in the gospel. As Gordon began to study and think more and more deeply and seriously about the tender mercies and grace of God, he would sometimes call me and say, "Oh, Frank, this is too good to be true." To which I would reply, "Yes, Gordon, that is why it's called good news." Gordon was a true disciple of the Lord Jesus Christ, if I have ever known one. A magnificent example of humility, compassion, faithfulness, and generosity. He was a bear-sized man who was kind and caring and gentle, and I loved him for that. Over the years, we have laughed together and cried together and prayed and shared our lives together, and no one could ever take the place he occupies in not just mine, but all of our hearts. I cannot now, nor will I, say goodbye to my friend and brother Gordon, because bits and pieces of who he was are now part of who I am, and I will carry them with me for the rest of my days. I will say, well done, my friend and brother. I look forward to seeing you again, each of us clothed in our imperishable, immortal, and glorified bodies. I thank you and our God for the love and friendship we've shared. And to me, you will always be the Grand Cooley.